All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on something that is, well, quietly reshaping our entire world. I'm talking about large language models, or as you probably know them, LLMs. We're going to dive into what they are, how they actually work, and, this is the fun part, the surprising ways you're already using them, probably without even realizing it.
So, let me ask you something. How many times did you use some form of advanced AI today? Just take a second and think about it. I bet the answer is way higher than you think. Because, this stuff isn't science fiction anymore. It's not coming soon. It is here, and it's already woven right into the fabric of our everyday lives.
I mean, just look at these names flashing by. We're talking about the heavy hitters, right? Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta. From the search results you get, to the stuff Amazon suggests you buy, all the way to how GitHub's Copilot practically finishes your sentences when you're coding, or how Duolingo figures out the perfect next lesson for you. The biggest companies in the world, they are all in on this. They're pouring billions into weaving these LLMs into the products you and I use every single day.
So, you ready to connect the dots? Here's the plan for our little tour. First, we'll look at the AI that's already in your hands. Then, we're going to pop the hood and see how these machines actually learn to talk. From there, we'll jump into how they're shaking up everything from your shopping cart to entire industries. And finally, we'll tackle some of the big challenges, the hurdles we still need to clear.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the AI you're already using. We're going to move past all the hype and the headlines and look at the actual real-world systems that are in production as we speak.
So that leads to the million-dollar question, right? How is any of this even possible? This is where things get really fascinating. Let's dig into how these machines learn language. We're going to unpack what an LLM is deep down and figure out how it can spit out text that sounds so human.
All right, so what exactly is a large language model? Honestly, the simplest way to think about it is it's autocomplete on steroids. No, seriously, at its very core, it's a prediction engine. It's been trained on a truly mind-boggling amount of text, basically a huge chunk of the internet, books, you name it. And its one and only goal is to get really, really good at predicting the next word in a sentence. That's it. You just string enough of those predictions together, and bam, you get paragraphs, essays, poems, all of it.
But we didn't get here overnight. This has been a long time coming. For years, we had these clunky, rule-based chatbots, you know the ones. They felt super robotic. Then neural networks came along and started learning from data, which was a big step. But the real earthquake, the moment everything changed, was in 2017. A paper came out introducing something called the transformer architecture. And that one single innovation, that's the reason we're having this conversation today.
So what made the transformer such a game changer? Well, here's the best way to picture it. Before the transformer, models had to process a sentence one word at a time. It was like trying to read a whole novel by looking at it through a tiny pinhole. Super slow, right? And by the time it got to the end of a long sentence, it had pretty much forgotten what the beginning was about. The transformer, it blew that all up. It gave the model the ability to see the entire sentence all at once, in parallel. That massive boost in efficiency is what allowed these models to get huge. It's literally what puts the large in large language models.
And the magic ingredient, the real secret sauce inside that transformer architecture, is this brilliant idea called self-attention. And it's kind of designed to work the way our own brains do. Think about it. When you read this sentence, your brain isn't giving equal weight to every single word. You instinctively focus on the important ones to get the meaning. Self-attention gives the AI that same superpower, the ability to figure out which words are the most important and pay extra attention to them.
And get this, the title of that game-changing paper from 2017, Attention is All You Need. It just perfectly captures how big of a deal this was. The breakthrough wasn't just about more data or faster computers, which is what everyone thought. It was about discovering a fundamentally smarter, more elegant way for the machine to learn by paying attention.
So how does that actually work? Let's break it down with a little analogy. Imagine the model is like a detective looking at a sentence, trying to figure out its meaning. It picks one word. That word sends out a question. That's the query. It's basically asking, hey, who in this sentence is relevant to me? Then, every other word in the sentence holds up a clue. That's the key. The detective looks at all the clues and decides which ones are most helpful for answering its question. And finally, it grabs the information, the value, from those most important words. It does this super fast for every word, building this rich map of how everything is connected.
Okay, that's a lot of theory. So what? How does this clever detective work inside a computer actually change anything for you and me? Well, let's bring it back to the real world and talk about LLMs in your shopping cart.
Now that we get the basic idea, let's look at where this technology is already showing up when you're browsing online.
And man, the use cases are all over the place. Take Stitch Fix. They're using it to write catchy headlines and product descriptions that gets you to click. Or Amazon, which is using it to figure out common sense connections. You know, the fact that if you buy a coffee maker, you're probably going to need filters. Instacart is using it to help you discover new things. And Zillow is using it to scan millions of listings to flag potentially problematic language. It's doing everything from the creative to the critical.
But this goes so much deeper than just retail. The impact is huge. Which brings us to our next section. LLMs are remaking entire industries. We're not talking about replacing people here. We're talking about a powerful new tool that's supercharging what human experts are capable of doing.
And you can see it right here, across the economy. For coders, GitHub Copilot is like having a genius partner sitting next to you, suggesting the next line of code. In education, Duolingo is creating custom-made lessons just for you, instantly. Got a giant PDF in Dropbox you don't want to read? Boom, it'll summarize it for you. And in healthcare, my gosh, it's helping researchers sift through mountains of medical data to find patterns. In every single one of these fields, it's acting like a powerful assistant, a co-pilot, that lets the professional do their job better and faster.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second. It's not all seamless, perfect magic. There's a big gap between a cool tech demo and a reliable tool you can trust every day. And that brings us to our final section, the hurdles ahead. Because with any technology this powerful, there are some pretty significant risks we have to talk about.
And this is really the core challenge, this balancing act. On the one side, you have all this incredible promise, boosting productivity, unlocking creativity. But on the other side, you've got the perils. These models can hallucinate, which is just a fancy word for confidently making stuff up that sounds completely true but isn't. And since they learn from us, from the internet, they can pick up and even amplify the biases that are already out there in the world. Not to mention, training and running these massive models takes an enormous amount of energy, and that's a real concern.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. The technology is here. It's not a question of if we're going to use it anymore. The real question, the most important question, is how we're going to build with it. Because the future of this AI isn't really about what the machines can do. It's about the choices we make, the people building it, the companies deploying it, and all of us using it. That's what will define the next chapter.